we already have a big market, so maybe we can just focus a little more on servicing them rather than just to focus on servicing them. And stay true to the mission, do no evil. So people say you're filtering out content, you're doing evil, you're not doing your mission, so you can just stay more true to that vision than just saying providing internet to the world's population is doing evil. Cons, one of the biggest ones actually is the foregone income that we're going to build. Like we mentioned before, China, 1/5 of the internet users. I mean, if we don't cover this market, somebody else, the local competition is going to grow. I mean, we're just losing a lot of income, so it's going to have an impact on our bottom line. Not providing quality service and foregone large market. So basically, if we do stay there, I mean, we don't want to give a really bad service. Basically, what's happening right now is the site is down. Well, let's say half the time while the site is down, several features are down most of the time, so if we can't provide a quality service, let's not go there at all because it's my fault. Because I heard our brand name as well, so just pull out and we might be better off that way. Second alternative is to actually stay in China. Pros are that, well, I mean, it's going to increase our income. Like I mentioned before, it's a huge market. There's a lot of money to be made. So we have to stay in China and increase our income. Providing superior service. Basically, if we go in there and do the development work that we're going to, the development of our infrastructure, as we'll cover, development of our infrastructure, then basically we can really grasp this market and increase our service to the Chinese market. As well as just being in the market is going to increase our awareness. So that's always a big plus. Just being there, we're going to market locally. People are going to know about this. We're going to create jobs over there. They're going to love us, hopefully. Cons, local criticism, possible culture clash. Like you mentioned before, basically the culture between North America, Europe, and China is a little bit different. Well, it's pretty different. The government is different, and the laws we have to deal with are different. So there's going to be a lot of change that needs to be done, and a lot of local customization needs to be done. So basically, it's a lot of work to be done. And finally, a big thing is the startup costs. If we want to adequately enter the Chinese market, set up a real infrastructure and solid real potential, then we need to put in a huge investment. Basically, we're going to take a look at that. So we need something to really offset that. So it's just a big startup cost. Next slide. Taking all these things into consideration and saying that we need to tap this market, we have the resources. Basically, our recommendation to you, wholeheartedly, is to go into the Chinese market, stay there, develop it, but start off with a little bit of caution. Just like in any other international business venture, it's always best to test the waters first. So go in, it's relatively small for Google, and we basically set up there, get a better idea, and then just go all out. Modify, and then finally do the PR work. The PR wasn't as strong before, so we need to invest in some solid PR and really increase our brand image. So to cover the implementation, I'm going to pass it on to Khalil.
Thank you, Kashif. So before we come up with this plan and before we implement this recommendation, we need to analyze what we need. Obviously, we're going to implement an information system and a web service in China. We need to take into account the people, the hardware, the software involved in this implementation. Obviously, first we start with the short term, 0 to 4 months. What do we need in people? We obviously need a project manager. This is a big deal. It's a big project. We need someone like Dr. Lee, who's already established in China on our behalf, to lead this project through. We need a steering committee. This is obviously the people that are going to be under the project manager. These are the people who are going to make it happen. We recommend Dr. Eric Schmidt and Mr. Larry Page, which is one of the owners and one of the chief programmers for us. We also need some consultants, because obviously we know the business itself, but we don't know actually the implementation process. So we recommend that you hire 8 IT consultants from IBM. This company is certified in IT consulting and will help us through this project. We also need 5 Chinese reps. This could be engineers, this can be people in the business, because we're obviously going into a market that we don't understand completely. So even with our ideals that we have in the States and all over the world, we still need the Chinese perspective into all this. So before we start, we also need our engineers. These people are going to start programming. We need to censor out a lot of information. We need to make sure that nothing bypasses this, because if we mess up, we might get into trouble with the Chinese government. So we'll hire 100 engineers, 50 from China and 50 from our main plant in Google. So this will help us start off small, and eventually we'll keep on growing. So now to mention the hardware, software, and any other issues regarding the implementation. Given the size of this market, we're estimating 100 million people potentially in China. So if you want to start targeting a good 40% of that, we need about 20,000 servers. These servers are going to start off, because we still don't have that big market share that will take us to a higher number. So we'll start off small with 20,000 servers. We also need to program the search algorithms. This is obvious because we need to censor out a lot of information. So that's where our software part comes in, because we need to make sure that our service and our algorithms are top-notch. Other issues. Obviously, we want to improve our Google, our image. So we need to hire an opinion leader. This is something we can invest in. People who are bloggers, people who use the internet to share, say like Google is doing this with China, they're improving their awareness, they're taking step by step, and then eventually they're going to give China a voice. So turn this whole thing around. Oh, you're censoring? No, you're censoring in the meantime, but eventually you're going to be a way out of this communism reign. So to start a little idea of how the server system is going to look like, we need to establish clusters, which is groups of servers in China and outside of China, in the region. So to go briefly, we're going to have the user, which is going to inquire to the DNS server. The DNS server will determine what is the closest location and what is the fastest server to respond to the query. So it will direct to the web server. The web server will obviously search the index server, which is the database of all the different websites, using data gathering tools. The popular ad server, which is AdSense, will tag on to the results, and this is where we generate a profit. Once the user gets the request, we analyze what they're looking for, we tag on to the search, and then whenever they click on our ads, we get about 25 cents. So that's that. And we need to look now at the medium term. That's short term. So people, hardware, and software of the medium term, which is less certain than the short term, because in technology, we never know what's going to happen. But we're estimating that we can hire 15 new engineers. It's a big market. We have a good product. We will increase our market share very fast. We maintain current service because 20,000